of Avium is an upcoming first-person shooter game developed by Ascendant Studios and published by Electronic Arts. The game is set to be released for Windows, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XS on July 20, 2023. Immortals of Avium is played from a first-person perspective. The game features around 25 spells including offensive and defensive magics of the red, blue, and green varieties. Its story follows Jack, who joins an elite order of battle mages to save a planet on the verge of abyss. Additionally, the game features a talent tree with over 80 nodes. Immortals of Avium campaign game length was confirmed to be at least 25 hours.
You walk towards your doom.
Doom and I are old friends.
Your sigil will help you focus your magic. Prevent it from killing you. I found a child whose new powers could make them a threat to the kingdom I protect. The choice was to either kill you or turn you into a weapon against Rasharn.
Back up. Option A was to kill me?
Mass Effect 5. BioWare's Mass Effect series is one of the most beloved RPG series out there.
Humanity now stands as partners of the galaxy.
Telling a sprawling and hugely ambitious space opera tale of extragalactic invaders and heroes helping each other to survive through desperate circumstances. Mass Effect 5 was announced back in November 2020. And since then BioWare has kept the excitement alive with a very slow drip feed of footage and images with hidden secrets inside each one.
In a world where crime reigns, there's the boss. And on the other side,
That's it. We end
the
this.
top cop.
Charge!
Rocky City, the crown jewel of Florida.
Crime Boss, Rocky City. Crime Boss, Rocky City is a 2023 cooperative first-person shooter video game developed by In-Game Studios and published by 505 Games. The player assembles a team of criminals and is sent on missions to infiltrate, steal, and defeat enemies in shooter gameplay.
That's the key. Try again. I look forward to it.
Crime Boss is focused around missions undertaken by teams of 4 criminals.
You just know you got what it takes to be the boss.
The player controls one of the criminals and cooperates with either other players or AI-controlled teammates to pull off heists in a first-person perspective.
Everything. He got a
The gameplay has frequently been compared to the Payday series of games.
Friends,
and try again.
The players need to collect enough loot from the target, but the longer they take, the greater the likelihood of police reinforcements arriving.
Getting to the throne ain't easy. But this here's my shot. And I'm gonna end up 6 feet deep.
The game is currently PC only and available exclusively on the Epic Games Store.
Before I'm done, baby.
Baker.
They're gonna know my name.
It is expected to release for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XS in June 2023.
Sheriff, we have movement on the dragon.
Tell me.
It seems he's looking for the king's killer. His guys are beating up thugs left and right, sir.
Interesting.
And especially Baker's crew.
He will be moving up the ranks soon. Maybe he'll do some work for us.
Whoa! Good shot, Sheriff. Wow!
The order is gone. I was betrayed by the one I trusted most. I will not be imprisoned again.
I hear you've been busy making yourself the Empire's
Star Wars
most
Jedi
wanted.
Survivor. Star Wars Jedi Survivor is an action-adventure game developed by Respawn Entertainment and published by Electronic Arts. A sequel to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, the game takes place 5 years after the ending of the first and continues the adventure of young Jedi Knight, Cal Kestis, as he and his friends continue in their struggle to survive the tyranny of the Galactic Empire. Survivor was released for the PlayStation 5, Windows, and Xbox Series XS on April 28, 2023. IT received generally favorable reviews from critics. Star Wars Jedi Survivor retains many of the gameplay mechanics from its predecessor and introduces new elements. In lightsaber combat, Cal Kestis has access to 5 different stances, each with unique features. He can use the single blade and double blade stances from the previous game, Fallen Order, and the special dual-wield blade attack is expanded into its own stance. The dual-wield stance was originally intended to be a playable stance in Fallen Order, but it was only included as a special attack due to time constraints.
Hope survives.
You were only a child when they sent you off to war. Now look at you. The weight of a galaxy on your shoulders.
Didn't I tell you to be more careful about who you scan? Come on.
I cannot tell you who you must become, or where the line is drawn. There are no easy choices. These are dark times. We have few allies.
Good to see you, Cal.
The odds are against us, and they will always be against us. Now or never!
Seems our destinies are intertwined.
But I can tell you this. If there is any hope of surviving, we must stand against the darkness.
Warhammer 40,000. Warhammer influenced by first-person shooters from the 1990s such as Doom, with some promotional material referring to the game as a boomer shooter. But the developers have highlighted their inclusion of modern gaming features like the use of modern enemy behavior AI. It is set in the Warhammer 40,000 universe and was released on May 23, 2023.
The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom retains the open-world action-adventure gameplay of the previous Zelda game, Breath of the Wild, 2017. As Link, players explore Hyrule and two new areas, the sky, littered with numerous floating islands, and the depths, to find weapons, resources, and complete quests. Link can explore on foot or by climbing, riding on horseback, and using a paraglider. New to Tears of the Kingdom are Zonai devices, which the player can use for combat, propulsion, exploration, and more. The previous game's runes are replaced with 5 new abilities: Ultra Hand, Fuse, Ascend, Recall, and Auto Build. Ultra Hand allows the player to pick up and move different objects, and attach different objects together.
Zelda, we rely on your knight, and that legendary sword he carries. Our last line of defense will be Link.
Link. I know why I am here. It's something only I can do.
Do not look away. You witness a king's revival and the birth of his new world.
Okay, let's go! But you are not alone. Link. You are our final hope. Link. You must find me.
Horizon Forbidden West: Burning Shores is a DLC expansion for Horizon Forbidden West exclusively on the PlayStation 5. It was released on April 19, 2023. This expansion brings Aloy to the Burning Shores, a volcanic archipelago formed from the ruins of Los Angeles, accessible after completing the main story.
Rated T for Teen.
enemy is headed south, to the burning shores.
My people are lost and scattered. What could he possibly want with them?
We have to find out, no matter what it takes. He's up to something big. Every tribe, every one, is in danger.
PlayStation.
IGI Origins. Reimagining a pioneer of the tactical first-person shooter genre, the prequel to 2000's Project IGI. It's 1980, the Cold War balances precariously on the brink of full-scale conflict. Infiltrate a volatile and manipulative world of high-stakes espionage, your way. You are Michael King, codenamed Regent, an ex-SAS soldier, recently recruited to MI6 on covert, global missions to infiltrate an enemy with a world war in their sights. Armed with a sophisticated arsenal to divert, outsmart, or wipe out your adversaries, decide your approach: ghost-like espionage or heavy firefights. Twisted actions raise questions over the true enemy and harden your resolve against a shifting, hostile world.
Caution is prudent. Knives are razor sharp. Sometimes you need to help discriminate friend from foe.
Well, work to be done, eh? We still have a mission to complete.
Too much of you. But I don't have a choice.
Lies of P. Lies of P is an upcoming Souls-like video game developed by NeoWiz Games and Round 8 Studio, and published by NeoWiz Games. The game will be released on September 19, 2023, for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Windows, Xbox One and Xbox Series X. The game is loosely based on the 1883 Italian novel The Adventures of Pinocchio by Carlo Collodi. Lies of P is played from a third-person perspective. The player controls the humanoid Pinocchio and travels on foot through the city of Krat, exploring the environment and fighting various biomechanical enemies. Pinocchio uses an arsenal of weapons such as swords and axes against his enemies and can dodge and block their blows. Pinocchio has a mechanical arm that can be equipped with gadgets such as a grappling hook to lure enemies or a flamethrower. The weapon and crafting system offers 30 different weapon types with 100 combinations. The game features a lying system, where the decisions the player makes during certain passages affect the course of events, leading to 3 different endings. The gameplay of Lies of P has been called a Souls-like, and compared to that of Dark Souls, Bloodborne and Sekiro.
Protect.
Fulfill. Your destiny.
to Jin Yong, which harnesses the power of Unreal Engine 5. Is a widely anticipated open-world role-playing game adapted from the martial arts novel written by legendary author by Minho Publications. Set for global code, Jin Yong will closely recreate the Jin Yong universe for the first time, bringing to players the vast, diverse martial arts world close to the heart of universal. Players will be able to explore and immerse themselves in the iconic martial arts world planned by Jin Yong. The game will create new life into classic stories and technology and quintessential Jin Yong soundtrack, and providing a 360 experience. Abyss World. Abyss World is a third-person ARPG game. Players will explore the traces of the Old Tide in the vast Nordinian world and uncover the secrets behind it. Once in Nordinia, the souls of the world arrived on the other side of the sea with the Old Tide. But with the emergence of the Fire Thief incident, the Old Tide disappeared, the balance of order was broken and the souls were no longer attracted to the other side. The strange tide sound made the dark sea filth gradually spread, constantly causing the world to fall into the abyss. However, as the ancient lighthouse on the mysterious island of the contaminated area is lit, the power from this world will be awakened and gradually reveal the secret of the soul's home. And the story unfolds. Banishers, Ghosts of the New Eden. New
So,
Eden,
you're a
1695.
banisher, eh?
Antia Duarte and Red Mac Wraith
You
are
want
lovers
ghosts,
and banishers,
right?
ghost hunters who vowed to protect
You
the
must
living
have
from the
seen
threat of
some
lingering
strange
ghosts and
things.
specters. Following the disastrous assassination of spirits she loathes. In the haunted wilds of North America, the couple desperately searches for a way to liberate Antia from her new past.
But I've never
Immerse
seen a
yourself
ghost
in a
myself.
beautiful, intimate, and powerful
But they are
story
real.
between two fated lovers.
Right?
As banishers, enter the lives of New Eden's communities and solve haunting cases in a mystical, lore-rich world plagued with supernatural creatures
So what?
and ancient secrets.
You track and kill him.
Use
that
your
it?
wits or combine Antia's spiritual powers and Red's arsenal to defeat and banish the souls tormenting the living.
We banish them.
I shall wish you a good hunt, then. It takes a brave man to walk these wilds alone.
I'm not alone.
A bone walker.
I need to make contact with Solace.
Don't even risk the LTV in the storm.
Jack Leary responding to Fort Solace alarm.
Fort Solis.
Is everything okay
Earlier
now?
this year, Fort Solis, a sci-fi thriller game from new developer Fallen Leaf, was announced at Summer Game Fest.
Something is off here.
Starring Troy Baker and Roger Clark, it certainly looks like it has the potential to have a dramatic story, but beyond a short trailer, almost everything about Fort Solis is shrouded in mystery. But first, let's establish the basics. Fort Solis is a third-person, sci-fi thriller set on the Solis planum of Mars at an isolated mining post, says Tinsdale. As a story-focused game, Fort Solis is inspired by the biggest studios working in interactive fiction. We look a lot at the brilliant narrative games that came before us. They are certainly an inspiration, Tinsdale says, name-checking developer Quantic Dream and Supermassive Games. We wanted to look at narrative techniques that were used in those games really successfully, but also add elements of gameplay.
Take Joshua and get to safety.
I'm not going without you.
I'm going to hold the enemy here while you make your escape.
Your Highness! Run! No! Clive! Joshua!
Final Fantasy XVI, Revenge. Final Fantasy XVI, Revenge is a 2023 action role-playing game developed and published by Square Enix. The 16th main installment in the Final Fantasy series, it was released for the PlayStation 5 as a timed exclusive. The game features segmented open environments and an action-based combat system involving melee and magic-based attacks. There are recurring series features including chocobos, and summoned monsters called icons, which are both fought as bosses and used through channeling their power in combat. Final Fantasy XVI is set in the twin continents of Valisthea, currently divided between 6 nations who hold power through access to magical crystals and dominance, humans who act as hosts for each nation's icon. Tensions between the nations escalate as a magical drought dubbed the Blight begins consuming the land. Clive Rossfield, guardian to his younger brother Joshua, witnesses his kingdom destroyed and becomes involved in the growing conflict between Valisthea's nations and the secret power behind the war tied to the dark icon Ifrit.
No matter how bitter the truth that awaits me, I will press on. Good boy.
What do we do?
The usual. 13 years I've waited for this chance. I won't be dying today.
Come to me, Ifrit!
Miasma Chronicles is a tactical role-playing video game developed by the Bearded Ladies and published by 505 Games in 2023. It is set in a post-apocalyptic version of the United States and blends turn-based tactics with stealth game mechanics. The United States is devastated by something called miasma, which transforms or kills living things. More than a century later, a woman leaves her son, Elvis, in the care of a robot named Diggs. Elvis has a glove left behind by his mother that can control the miasma. Players control Elvis as he seeks out his mother and attempts to learn more about the miasma. Miasma Chronicles is a tactical role-playing game. Players explore the game in real time using mechanics from stealth games. Enemies have a visible cone of vision, which allows players to determine whether they will be seen. Combat is turn-based and tactical. Players can recruit another non-player character to join Elvis and Diggs.
This is the place.
A crime. Something like this should never have happened.
Neo Berlin 2087. A unique, third- and first-person action role-playing game. A deep, cinematic detective thriller that takes place in a dark future vision of Neo Berlin 2087. Technological advancements and cyberization have divided society into a two-class system, where the rich are ruling over the city while the poor are fighting for survival inside the slums and in the deadly wasteland outside the New Berlin city walls. The gameplay of this detective thriller is built on a blend of first and third person, allowing you to choose from a vast array of shooter, stealth, investigation and role-playing game mechanics. Solve a far-reaching conspiracy on an emotional cyberpunk journey about justice, friendship, love, guilt, sacrifice and betrayal.
So I was forced to do this. I'm sorry, Nolan.
PlayStation.
Project M is one of NCSoft's most ambitious projects to date.
Project M. Project M is a mod of the 2008 fighting game Super Smash Bros. Brawl for the Wii, created by the community group known as the Project M Development Team, PMDT, previously known as the Project M Backroom. It is designed to retool Brawl to play more like its two predecessors, Super Smash Bros. 1999, and Super Smash Bros. Melee, 2001, in response to fan objections to Brawl's physics, slower-paced gameplay, larger use of chance elements, and mechanics of certain attacks. Project M reintroduces Drive, Mario, although as a palette swap of Mario, Mewtwo, and Roy, who were present in Melee but were cut from Brawl due to time constraints. In addition, it features a new art style for in-game menus and allows players to choose certain characters individually when they are only accessible as transformations of other ones in Brawl.
Will change your experience. The information that exists in the present reality determines how the world will unfold. Value every encounter and every moment. These will be essential in the world of Project M. This is where our journey ends for now. I look forward to seeing you all again soon.
RoboCop, Rogue City. RoboCop, Rogue City is an upcoming first-person shooter developed by Teon and published by Naken. It features an original storyline based on the RoboCop films, with Peter Weller reprising his role as the titular character. The game is scheduled to release for PlayStation 5, Windows, and Xbox Series X on the 2nd of November 2023. The player must clear the city of criminals, conduct investigations, and can also give out parking tickets. The game is set in between the films RoboCop 2 and RoboCop 3. Anne Lewis, RoboCop's police partner from the films, accompanies the player. The player is given various side quests throughout the game and can choose how to solve them, for example by selecting between different dialogue options. The outcome of these quests varies depending on the player's choices. For instance, the player can choose between using violence or a peaceful approach when seeking information from suspects. The overall storyline and ending are also altered depending on decisions made by the player. RoboCop's public trust score can be built up by interacting with citizens, also affecting gameplay.
One parking ticket is all it takes to improve mindfulness.
Ravenbound. Fear everything and nothing for death brings you closer to victory in this challenging open-world action roguelite. As the vessel of an ancient power, you must use steel and skill to complete your mission in a dangerous fantasy world inspired by Scandinavian folklore. Permadeath and permanent progression. You are a vessel to the Raven, an eternal weapon forged by imprisoned gods. In order to free them and restore order to the island of Avult, the Raven must rebuild its power, one vessel's life at a time. Permadeath is a big part of Ravenbound. While each vessel is lost forever once they fall in battle, the strength they bring to the Raven is not, allowing you to come back stronger each time. Fast-paced action roguelike combat. Hone your skill through many lifetimes as you battle the corrupted creatures of the land in a fast-paced hack-and-slash combat system where the monsters will stop at nothing to bring you down. Master the combat and choose upgrades that suit your playstyle to overcome the challenges ahead.
And she said, "With our swords, we will forge new stories to strike the gods that haunt us." You might see me as weak, but I will show you what lies behind my eyes.
Hellblade. Senua's Sacrifice. Hellblade. Senua's Sacrifice is a 2017 action-adventure game developed and published by the British video game development studio Ninja Theory. Set in a dark fantasy world inspired by Norse mythology and Celtic culture, the game follows Senua, a picked warrior who must make her way to Helheim by defeating otherworldly entities and facing their challenges, in order to rescue the soul of her dead lover from the goddess Hela. It was released worldwide for PlayStation 4 and Windows in August 2017, Xbox One in April 2018, Nintendo Switch in April 2019, and Xbox Series X and Series S in August 2021. Hellblade features support for virtual reality, which was added in a 2018 update. Self-described as an independent AAA game, Hellblade was created by a team of approximately 20 developers led by writer and director Tamim Antoniadis. The game blends different gameplay mechanics and concepts like puzzle solving, psychological horror and melee combat. Voice acting is an integral part of the game, while its cutscenes combine motion capture by Melina Juergens and live-action performances by other actors. The game's narrative serves as a metaphor for the character's struggle with psychosis, as Senua, who suffers from the condition but believes it to be a curse, is haunted by an entity known as the Darkness, voices in her head known as Furies, and memories from her past. To properly represent psychosis, developers worked closely with neuroscientists, mental health specialists, and people living with the condition.
Besieged by the ghosts that haunt them. Senua saw that to win the war we must break this siege. Break it with an unshakable truth. Break it with an impossible feat.
Get ready, it's about to start. Get ready. Get ready. You can do this. First the iron, then fire. Yes. Yes. No! Yes!
Varric! Harold!
Bring it to you.
Joy! I'm here! I'm here! Take me! Chase me! Run! Slow him down! Keep moving! Yes! Come to get me! Get up! Like that!
It's me it wants to kill.
Get ready! Attack! Attack now! Again! Attack! Spear!
Project TH. Project The Perceiver, or just The Perceiver, is an upcoming action-adventure game from Paper Games and 17ZHE Studio. Here's everything we know about this upcoming Souls-like game. At first glance, The Perceiver looks a lot like a Chinese Sekiro, and a lot like Team Ninja's upcoming Wo Long, Fallen Dynasty. The game is a third-person action-adventure that appears to be a Souls-like game, at least until the trailer and gameplay reveal reaches the midway point. Then things become a lot more Neo-flavored as the historical adventure leans into fantasy. Below, we've gathered everything we know about The Perceiver since it was announced. We'll also keep this page updated each time more information about the game comes to light. The gameplay of The Perceiver seems to borrow from Sekiro, Neo, and Ghosts of Tsushima in that it seems grounded in historical fiction, but with supernatural elements. This seems to especially be the case when traversing certain areas and fighting some bosses who seem to have supernatural abilities, but so do you. The protagonist seems to be an artist and a noble living in a land called Tang before it is invaded and he is assassinated. In his dying breath, the player character laments he'll not be able to finish his play, before falling into some water after being peppered with arrows. Project Magnum. First revealed this game under the title Project Magnum in September 2021. It looks like a mixture of every major AAA gaming trend. The first Descendant will be a free-to-play, sci-fi, cooperative shooter. Hot off the heels of games like Outriders, the first Descendant is all about mowing down hordes of enemies and giant bosses with friends to unlock new loot to upgrade your character with. Taking notes from hero shooters, players will choose from at least 12 characters, all of whom have unique abilities. Meanwhile, each character's grappling hook and the game's fast-paced gunplay also look like they'll keep the action moving. While it isn't the most unique-looking game out there, the first Descendant looks pretty in Unreal Engine 5 and could strike a chord with players if its gameplay is enjoyable and the microtransactions aren't overbearing. While we got a brief new teaser with this title change confirmation, Nexon also confirmed that it would show a lengthier trailer and reveal even more about the first Descendant at Gamescom 2022. After that, interested players will have a chance to go hands-on with the game before the end of the year. A Steam beta will occur between October 20th and October 26th this year. There's no word on when a console beta will happen.
Begin again.
Royal Highness, ladies and gentlemen, an entertainment. How many times will one dissenter die before accepting their fate?
Warframe. Warframe is a free-to-play action role-playing third-person shooter multiplayer online game developed and published by Digital Extremes. First released for Windows personal computers in March 2013, it was later ported to PlayStation 4 in November 2013, Xbox One in September 2014, Nintendo Switch in November 2018, PlayStation 5 in November 2020, and Xbox Series X in April 2021. Support for cross-platform play was released in 2022. Cross-save, as well as ports to mobile devices, is planned for 2023. The game is in a perpetual open beta. In Warframe, players control members of the Tenno, a race of ancient warriors who have awoken from centuries of suspended animation far into Earth's future to find themselves at war with different factions in the Origin system. The Tenno use their powered warframes along with a variety of weapons and abilities to complete missions. While many of the game's missions use procedurally generated levels, it also includes large open-world areas similar to other massively multiplayer online games, as well as some story-specific missions with fixed-level design. The game includes elements of shooting and melee games, parkour, and role-playing to allow players to advance their tenno with improved gear. The game includes both player versus environment and player versus player elements. It is supported by microtransactions, which lets players purchase in-game items using real money, but also offers the option to earn them at no cost through grinding. The Lost Wild, a first-person survival horror game. The Lost Wild is an immersive and cinematic dinosaur game that captures the reverence and terror of nature's most magnificent beasts. Come face to face with dinosaurs that behave like wild animals, not monsters. Explore a prehistoric wilderness where you're squarely in the center of the food chain. Keep your head down, stay alert, and evade. If all else fails, run or try to intimidate using non-lethal weaponry, resulting in intense cat-and-mouse-style gameplay. Discover abandoned facilities nestled in a lush wilderness teeming with prehistoric life. Scavenge and acquire useful items to improve your chances of survival, but become subject to ever-increasing dangers the deeper you explore. Unravel the mystery at the heart of the island. Move stealthily and elude predators hunting you down. Create distractions and use your environment to your advantage. Make use of items you've discovered to give yourself options in each encounter. Outmaneuver, distract, run, and if all else fails, hide.
In this video, I want to show you how spells work in Witchfire. The first thing to know is that we have two types of spells in the game. Light spells are quick, easy to execute and cost a relatively small amount of stamina. Heavy spells, as you can imagine, are slower to execute, and it takes longer for our witch hunter to regenerate before he can use one again. The heavy spell we are seeing here is a cursed phantom bell that you can ring up to 3 times with your bullets. Ringing the bell stuns all
Witchfire is an upcoming first-person shooter video game developed and published by the Astronauts. The game is set to be released for Windows PC in early access in September 2023. Witchfire is to be an action-oriented, skill-based first-person shooter game with no cutscenes. 2, 3. The game would also feature elements commonly found in roguelike games.
On top of that, elements interact with each other in intuitive ways. Here, I attack an enemy with shock light spell. The damage and the element spread to other nearby enemies. Now, I'll do the same thing again, but let me set enemy on fire with my shotgun. And now, there! As you can see, the bolts affecting nearby enemies were more powerful, and that is because the source enemy was burning, receiving more damage from my bullets. And these are the basics of the spell system in Witchfire. Spells are as important in the player arsenal as his weapons, and using both is the key to survival in the land of the witch. Thank you for watching, and do usłyszenia!
Rated T for Teen.
Monster.
Smite, Smite is a 2014 free-to-play, third-person multiplayer online battle arena video game developed and published by Hi-Rez Studios for Microsoft Windows, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and Amazon Luna. In Smite, players control a god, goddess, or other mythological figure and take part in team-based combat, using their abilities and tactics against other player-controlled gods and non-player-controlled minions. The game has multiple player versus player (PvP) modes, many playable characters, and has a successful esports scene with multiple tournaments, including the annual $1 million Smite World Championship.
A perfect world is a perfect prison. They taught us uniformity is strength, like links in a chain. That there was a formula for success that we all must.
Overwatch 2. Overwatch 2 is a free-to-play shooter featuring 30-plus epic heroes, each with game-changing abilities.
So,
choose your hero, group up with your friends and battle across all new maps and modes in the ultimate team-based shooter. Ever-evolving heroes, new maps, new ways to play, and unique cosmetics. Lead the charge, ambush your enemies, or aid your allies as one of Overwatch's distinct heroes. Take them into battle across dozens of futuristic maps inspired by real-world locations, and master multiple unique game modes. Fight back against Null Sector in Overwatch 2, Invasion. Team up with friends and play through all new Invasion story missions, and take on sprawling environments with complex objectives as you uncover an in-depth storyline. Dive into the new PvP game mode, Flashpoint, and harness the power of the sun with our newest support hero, Alari. Free to play. Overwatch 2 is a free-to-play, always-on, and ever-evolving live game. Team up with friends regardless of platform and jump into the reimagined PvP experience.
In our compassion, our willingness to grow. I have brought nature and technology together to create a new possibility. And I will heal our world.
A couple of months ago, I couldn't even imagine that I would end up here, and all this would happen to me. This freaking island can wipe out all of humanity, and I'm here to make things right. But first, it's time for dinner.
Outbreak Island. A mysterious experiment drove the population of Earlson Island crazy. The authorities have isolated the region from the outside world and sealed the incident. As a detective Howard Chapman, you secretly arrive on the island to look into the cause of the accident. There is no way back. All that remains is to survive and investigate. Outbreak Island is a survival game with detective elements. Investigate the mysteries of an island and stay alive at any cost using a camera, handcrafted weapons, and deduction.
Enjoy your meal. So, how do I start my day on the island? Just like any other normal person does. I love the smell of the forest in the morning. Nothing invigorates you better than a jog in the fresh air. Living my best life. On my way, I stop for groceries. A hearty and balanced breakfast is the foundation of a productive day. Usually, the selection is not too diverse, but sometimes you come across real delicacies. By the way, I cook breakfast for myself. I have to improvise, but it always turns out finger-licking good. Afterwards, I drive to work. You have no idea how wonderful life is without traffic jams. There I do my routine stuff, trying my best not to get into any trouble. Finally, I'm home. You know, this is the only place where I truly feel safe. Sometimes I overdo it a bit, and then I need a small repair on myself. My insurance is expired, but the service here is not the best either. The day is coming to an end, and my faithful yellow friend and I are heading out to grab dinner. And here we are, the next link in this crazy food chain. Who's next? Hello? Hello?
Paranormal Tales. Paranormal Tales is a next-gen horror game based on found footage built in Unreal Engine 5. You experience and play through each tragic tale of those who went missing from the viewpoint of body cams, phones, and VHS cameras.
Please, God, no.
Project Awakening. Project Awakening is an upcoming action role-playing game in a fantasy setting being developed by Cygames, and initially announced for the PlayStation 4 in September 2018. Development of Project Awakening as a high-end console game was announced at Cygames' next event, Tokyo, in November 2016, under development at Cygames Osaka Studio. A short gameplay video was shown in a closed session at E3 2018. The game was described as showing some influences from games such as Monster Hunter and Dragon's Dogma. The game was officially announced as an action fantasy RPG in September 2018 for the PlayStation 4 system, with Junji Tago as the director, and Ryosuke Aiba as the art director.
We all come to a story with hopes and expectations, looking for an answer. Sometimes it would be better to live with that.
Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 2 is an upcoming survival horror game developed by Remedy Entertainment and published by Epic Games Publishing. A sequel to Alan Wake, the story follows best-selling thriller novelist Alan Wake, who has been trapped in an alternate dimension for 13 years, as he attempts to escape by writing a horror story involving an FBI agent named Saga Anderson. the game is scheduled to release for PlayStation 5, Windows, and Xbox Series X on October 27, 2023.
Star Station LO868. Welcome aboard. The eye's showing signs over another one of those big anomalies. Maybe you catch a smile and uncover the source of it all.
Starfield is an action role-playing game developed by Bethesda Game Studios and published by Bethesda Softworks. It was announced during Bethesda's E3 presentation in 2018. The game takes place in a space-themed setting.
Welcome to Constellation. We have a lot to talk about. We're all here because we're committed to the biggest question of all. What's out there? These artifacts could be everything we've been looking for. As to what they are, what they're building, you'll be part of solving that puzzle now.
So, you found something?
The new guy found it.
You dug up the artifact, right? That means you saw it. The visions?
The artifact you found appears to be one of many, scattered across the galaxy. If we can find more, we can unlock their secrets.
Beautiful, isn't it? The man who sold me this told me that it spoke to him.
Of course, the Settled Systems is full of groups with other priorities.
That's the Crimson Fleet! Everybody get ready!
The fleet doesn't follow the rules. Agreed to work for UCC staff. And together, we take down these cutthroat pirates.
We're not just here to shoot the bad guys. We're peacekeepers. We protect the people of the Free Star Collective.
When you sign up with the Crimson Fleet, no one quits. The only way out is death.
The path ahead may be dangerous, but we are not stopping.
Most Dusties don't even make it this far.
Because whatever lies at the end of this road will change humanity forever.